Hey, what's going on? Financial Fitness Friday. I'm here with my co-host Dave Bergio. Dave, what's going on, brother?
Jonathan, I'm good, buddy. How are you, my man? Good to see you as always.
I'm good, guys. If you hear me sniffling or I sound like shit, I apologize in advance. Um, there's a whole lot going on here, a little bit more than usual. All right, so one of those things that we wanted to go over is growth through inefficiencies. Growth by making sure you do the little things that add up to the big things. Attention to the details. Okay. Here's why. A lot of people look past the simple, basic, easy things. Okay. And the more you can dial that into your process, the more you can dial it into your team, how you operate, paying attention to the little details. The more you can do that, the more you're going to be able to grow. Okay. And as a smaller company, you have an advantage. Okay. And your advantage is it's easier to pay attention to the details when you have, let's say, a team of 10 or a team of 20 or a team of 30. When you start getting to 100 employees or 200 employees, I'm not there. I'm sure that has to be difficult. But paying attention to the details is what's going to allow you guys to grow. Think about one of the most important parts of your business. What's your customer's journey, right? Does the interaction look like between your team and your client? And a lot of people do not look and pick that part of their business apart. And that is the most important part, because if you have a great encounter or experience with your clients, guess what? They're going to go and they're going to tell other people, and they're going to bring more people into your business. And then that cycle keeps repeating itself. Dave, what do you got on this?
There's a there's a favorite quote, or kind of actually, it's one of our core values. Actually, it's do what you say you're gonna do. And too many times today, it just falls through the cracks. It's
Yeah.
almost like a revolving door, or just to take a number and get in line. That customer experience isn't there anymore. And like your experience we were talking about before on here. Brad loves to test people. Like if he's calling for something like auto dealership, or like you just got a bunch of office furniture, he will like kind of test them on there to see like what their feedback from a customer service standpoint is. And it's like, how are you guys like still even in business, or what are you leaving on the table? And here brings up a good point. I was on a coaching call last night, and something I heard on there, and I kind of want your opinion on this, because you were talking earlier about if you have multiple employees, yeah, it's obviously something to keep track of in that experience. But somebody mentioned that, listen, there's two things in this. If you want that white glove service, sure, that's going to come at a price, that quality. But if you want quantity, you're going to suffer that quality in a sense. And I don't know if I believe that completely, because then you look at a company like First Form, who does have 500 employees, right? And that attention to detail, that customer experience. So that kind of took me back a little bit, that was said, hey, if you're trying to scale and grow fast, you're going to suffer on a quality aspect. What's your take on that, man? Because I don't know if I buy that completely.
Um, you know what? I think it depends on the opportunity. I think it depends on the situation. Here's why I say that. Okay, if you are big on culture, and attention to the details, and that is ingrained and rewarded upon, right? And that is what you are permeating into your team, then yes, attention to the details in that situation. Can it be done? Absolutely. But how many fucking companies are like First Form? Okay, very fucking few, very rare. Okay, almost none. It's very hard to do, right? That's how they're able to grow that fast. Um, to think about it like this. This is why I'm on the other side of that fence too. Yes, you can. Once you know the play, you have to execute on the play. I don't think most people can execute on the play, to be honest with you. Okay. It's more likely, think of the 80-20 rule. If you're going to hire somebody, all right, they have to be able to do what you're hiring them to do at least 80% as good as you do it, right? Okay. So think about how many layers of management there are as you're growing. Okay. And if it's always the 80 rule, well, by the time you get to, let's say, that third, fourth, or fifth line, okay, obviously that 80% is like 20%.
It gets watered down a little bit.
Exactly. It gets watered down. And so it's an interesting paradox where both answers I feel are correct. And it depends on who it is and what the situation is. It is very, very hard. I will tell you that I have grown much slower because I care more about the culture and I care more about who's coming in the door and who's joining the family than I do how many people join.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So for me, I've taken it slow so I can go fast. Whereas if I just wanted to fill a room, I could fill a room, but then it's going to be absolute shit and chaos.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't want to deal with that.
Yeah. Almost like, yeah, no, that makes total sense, man. It's, again, it's, where do you drop that point? It's, yeah, you could speed up, but like, what do you bring into the table? Right. Like, look at cars are a great example. Look at cars that are mass produced compared to something that's hand built, like a Rolls. You know what I mean? That quality and that attention to details there.
Absolutely.
Where you get a Honda Accord and fucking a year later, you could have like 3 or 4 fucking recalls on it.
Yeah. I think that it's really important to think about molding for output. And here's what I mean. I have waited and waited and waited. I've been very selective with who we hire.
Mm-hmm.
Every single person fits the culture, though. Every single person is super hungry, super motivated, super driven, and very coachable.
Mm-hmm.
So when I hire, I'm not trying to have a team of 20 or 50 people. I want the right 10 people, and I've said this in my meetings. I want the right 10 people in sales. And here's why. If I have the right 10 people, I know that each one of those people can do the work of, let's say, 3 or 4 people. When you look at what the systems we built are and what the processes are, I know that I can have absolute studs. And so if I can have 10 people that crush it, that are absolute pros and the best at what they do, that's easier to multiply. So right now, my goal is just to get to that 10 rock stars. And then at 10, you can think, do I want to replicate this again? Or am I going to be good here because these 10 produce like we have 40? Does that make sense?
Absolutely. And I think the other thing when you look to build like that, that's where the whole idea of when you're growing, it creates more positions now. So those quote unquote studs or Clydesdales, right? That old Clydesdale effect, that now it's, if you have an opportunity to grow even more, well, they just created a new opportunity for themselves. Hey, you could be in a management position now. Now you have a whole division and a whole team. So then kind of like that first form example to where, hey, it's not going to get watered down as you come down that pyramid.
Correct. That's how I'm justifying it, and that's how I'm approaching it from a logical standpoint.
Mm-hmm.
And so if I can collect the right 10, from that you can build off whatever you need, or you can keep it there. Right. Yeah. But you have to have that short-term goal that I can pivot off of if I want to. Like, think about it like this. If I get those 10 and now I'm doing, let's say 20 million a year, 30 million a year. Let's see what that looks like. Am I accomplishing my mission at that? Probably not. Right. I'm probably not. So then, all right, what's the new objective? Well, I have 10 fucking rock stars right now. I have 10 absolute Spartans and killers. It's going to be so much easier if I have each one of those guys just get somebody that fits our culture, because they've been ingrained and indoctrinated into the culture now, right? They grab some people. Each one of them multiplies themselves. You could double up in literally 6 weeks. And then after they do it once successfully, they do it again. Okay, now guess what? Instead of all those people being just advisors, now they're managing their own team that they just created. Okay, and within a span of, call it 12, if we really wanted to extend it a year, 12 months, you could have a 3x or a 4x. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that was kind of like the missing piece going into this year from a personnel standpoint, because last year was all systems and getting the right systems in place. And the beauty of that too, man, that I don't think is covered when you're building that culture with studs, it's that when you are trying to grow beyond that, and now it becomes when you're talking about that culture, people find you. You're not out there looking for more people coming. Word gets
Right.
out. Social media is a big deal. Hey, trifecta, man, you got to check these guys out. Hey, integrated. Holy shit, dude, they're crushing it over there. Yeah, man, I'd love to be a part of an environment like that. Let's go see what they're doing, man. Like, yeah, let's hop on that train.
Yep. Dude, my good our friend Julian, okay, Arte, all his guys, they all like right now. My whole team is doing 75 hard.
Nice.
Julian's whole team does it and posts about it. Okay, and think about the buzz that him and his team create, and what type of culture they're building there. Because other people are going to see this, they're going to ask, they're going to want to know what's going on, why are they doing that, and then it's a soft pitch or recruit to come join Julian's company because nobody else does that stuff, right? It's brilliant.
Yeah. And nobody really cares. Like when you were saying before, it's about, hey, you're coming in, you're buying into the culture, you'll get trained, you'll develop the skill sets. It's not, the whole late 90s, early 2000s thing of, hey, go to school to get a job, so to speak, as to what you want. Now it's no, I'm buying into a culture and a system of people. Everything else will come up behind that.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah,
Well,
buddy.
listen, guys, this was, I think, one of my favorite of all time. We've done a lot of these. All right. So do me a favor, share with someone that needs to hear it, and we'll catch you on Mindset Monday. Dave, good work.
Hey, you too, buddy. Be great, y'all.